Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In this series, I am going to present the English rendition of Muslims of Imam Sharf Uddin Yahya Nahwi's translation, explanation, and commentary on the Sahih of Muslim. And I will be presenting it in full without any addition or any extractions, and the entire text will be presented to you. I will actually be reading it out so that you can have a good sense of have full knowledge of what how Imam Nawawi interprets Imam Muslim's Sahih, which is one of the most celebrated Hadith books, and which is actually considered to be the uh, to be the second, according to some, the first authentic book after the Quran. So let us begin without much ado. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I have decided to start from the actual commentary on the Hadith work, and the scholars and students know that Imam Nawawi has actually written a lot about the background, about different terminology, and also on the Muqaddimah of the Sahih. But we will be starting from the first chapter, that is about the faith. It is called Kitabul Iman. Kitabul Iman, the book of faith. The heading today we can only deal with the Imam Nawawi's treatment of the heading, and that too partly. And in the next session, we will complete this entire discussion. So the chapter heading is Explication of Iman, Islam, Ihsan, the obligations of Iman with the affirmation of the divine decree of Allah, the glorious and most high, and explaining the evidence for declaring one's innocence of the one. It means that you give up upon the person who says that who does not believe in the divine decree and having a harsh view of his case. Uh, the next slide. Imam Abul Hussain Muhammad bin al-Hajjaj Kushairi, may Allah be pleased with him, said. Now this is the text from Imam Muslim. With the aid of Allah we begin, upon him we rely, and our success in our undertaking can only come from Allah. May he be exalted. The discussion now, it is the commentary of Imam Sharf Uddin Yahya Nawawi. The discussions on this topic generally revolve around the difference of opinion over the meaning and application of the term Iman and Islam, and their specificness and generality. It also discusses questions such as the following: is Iman subject to increase and decrease or not? Is doing good deeds included in Iman or not? Scholars from the earliest times as well as the later generations have discussed all these issues copiously. I would confine the discussion to quote partly from the variety of sayings attributed to them, which will suffice for our purpose. However, certain additional additions will also come to the surface during the course of discussion. Imam Abu Sulaiman Ahmad bin Muhammad bin Ibrahim al-Khattabi al-Basti al-Shafi, one of the literati and jurists, says in his magnum opus, Ma'alim al-Sunan, he says, people have frequently fallen into error in regard to this question. As for Azuri, he says, Al-Islam is to state the belief, and Al-Iman is to put it into practice. He bases his understanding on the following verse of the Holy Quran. The Bedouins say, we believe. Say, you do not believe, but say, we have surrendered, meaning aslamna, for faith, uh, because faith, that is Iman, has not yet entered your hearts. This is Surah 49 and verse 14 of the Holy Quran. Others have opined that Iman and Islam are the same thing. They base themselves on the following verse of the Holy Quran. So brought out from therein the believers, that is mu'mineen, but we found not there any household of the Muslims except one. Subsequently, one great scholar of the Ummah would own up either. Subsequently, any great scholar of the Ummah would own up either of these views and defend it. Another would follow the opposite and write hundreds of pages to explicate or support his case. He says that the sound view in this regard is that no general statement be given in this matter. We should speak only in specific terms. The reason is that a Muslim may be a mu'min, that is, one possessing Iman, or at certain point of time. He may not be a mu'min at another point in time. However, a mu'min is a Muslim universally, all the time. It means that a person at times loses faith. However, if he is a believer, he is all the time a Muslim. Thus, every Mu'min is a Muslim, but not every Muslim is a Mu'min. When you take this course of understanding, the interpretation of the relevant verses is set for you on the firm track. The conclusion would then be balanced, and there would demand no room for disputation. The essence of Iman is confirmation from heart. The essence of Islam is submission and obedience. A man at time can feign to be a Muslim without subjecting his inner self to Iman. Similarly, a man at time can be true believer in his inner intention but still refuse to follow the faith practically. Al-Khattabi has given a relevant comment on the prophetic tradition. Iman has a more than 70 branches. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said Iman has more than 70 branches. So Imam Khattabi explains it and says, this tradition explains that Iman is a term that is applied to a meaning that has many aspects and branches. This implied thing has a lower as well as a higher degree. The term is equally applied to the parts as well as the whole. The reality of the thing termed Iman would require accomplishing all of its branches and covering all of its parts. An example is the word Salah, the worship ritual that we all know. It has branches and parts. The term can be applied to the parts as well as the whole. However, the true discharge of Salah would be covering the entire ritual and accomplishing all of its units. This is also proven by the prophetic saying, modesty is a branch of Iman. Al-Haya, Al-Haya Shatrum min al-Iman. This proves the degree in Iman and difference between the level of the believers. Imam Abu Hussein bin Masud al-Baghawi al-Shafi commented on the hadith in which the angel Jibreel questions the Prophet about Islam and Iman and the latter's response. He said, according to the Prophet, Islam is the name of the action that are apparent and Iman is the name of the internal beliefs. It does not mean that the deeds are not part of Iman or the confirmation of the heart is not part of Islam, but it only gives a general description of a reality. In reality, two of them are the same thing. Both combine to make the religion. This is why the Prophet said, he is Jibreel who came to teach you your religion. Confirmation of the heart and deeds are covered both by Iman and Islam. This is further affirmed by the following divine saying. Allah Almighty says, truly the religion with Allah is Islam. This is verse 19 of Surah 3. Have chosen for you Islam as your religion. That is another verse. Allah has chosen for you Islam as your religion. That is verse 3 of Surah 5. And he also says, whoever seeks a religion other than Islam, it will never be accepted of him. This is again Surah Al Imran, verse 85. Thus, Allah has informed us the religion that He has chosen for us, and that which that he will accept from his servants is only Islam. The religion of a servant is never acceptable and cannot earn Allah's pleasure unless it is based on confirmation of the heart corroborated by deeds. Imam Abu Abdullah Muhammad bin Ismail bin Muhammad al-Fazl al-Tamimi al-Isfahani al-Shafi'i writes in his book Tahrir Shara Sahih Muslim. He says, linguistically, the term Iman is confirmation of the heart. In this sense, it does not increase or decrease, as confirmation is not something that can be factorized and that at times we imagine its perfection and at another point and deficiency at another. As a religious legal term, it means confirmation of the heart and practicing the pillars of the religion. Pillar of the religion, we know that these are five pillars like saying the Shahada, praying the five daily prayers, Zakah, Hajj, and some include Jihad. In this sense, it admits of increase and decrease. This is viewpoint of the people of the Sunnah. Now, the real well-researched question about the difference of opinion on this issue can be framed as the following. Can a person who believes in his heart but does not put into practice what the belief entails be called a believer in absolute sense? The preferred view, in our opinion, this is Imam Nawawi writing, is that he cannot be termed a believer in the absolute sense. The Prophet says, as a zani, that is an adulterer, does not commit zina, that is sex out of wedlock, while he has faith. The reason behind this prophetic judgment is that the sinner has not acted upon the dictates of the faith he professes. Therefore, he cannot be termed as a believer in the absolute sense. Now, we have seen that the difference of opinion on this issue has come to a point uh, where the different views can confluence and can converge together. And inshallah, in the next session, we will be discussing the remaining part of this discussion. Thank you very much.